Hi. So I wasn't going to be doing anything today. Today is my day off, and it's always in those days that things come that need to be shared. This is mainly because it's normally a day where I just relax, and it's normally when we are the most relaxed and the most still that things come to be shared. I've just received a new tarot deck, which I am quickly falling in love with. I'm not going to talk about the tarot deck as such yet, not until I've played with it for a while. But I just started to do my first reading for myself with that deck. And something came up through the reading that had nothing to do with the question I was asking. And I feel like I just felt like I wanted to share it because uh, it's um, it's been kind of really key for me. And I think it can be interesting for others also to hear this. So I am in a phase now where I've left a lot of myself behind in the last month, and I am embracing the change slowly by slowly. I'm inquiring with so many things that are happening and that I am experiencing. Those I will also do more videos on this later. But basically, I had to shift away from quite a few connections, quite a few relationships. And I am finding myself beyond those relationships and trying to understand who I am now that these relationships are not there and who I would have been, or well, basically, regardless of the relationships, who I am. And I've been for many years looking into manifestation and how we manifest and how we can change our lives, how we can bring ourselves better health, better abundance in all aspects, happiness, love, money. And I've done quite the journey with this. But still, there is I would say I feel like there's a distance between what I want and where I am or who I am. There's maybe a wall, or no, I think it's really a distance. So, anyway, I've written down about this and I'm just going to read you now what it is that I wrote. And I'm going to try and enunciate, and also I'm going to do my best to reread my own writing. So, that's going to be quite a bit of a challenge, but let's go. So, great health, happiness, love, money. It is all on the other side of where I am. The other side of what? Another world? The other side of the fence? No. The other side of fears. And the other side of society. The other side of what I have been told. The other side of everything that I was told about how money is crap, how we never have any, and how we could never really earn enough to sustain ourselves, leave alone thrive. And finally, and most importantly, how we know that it is the others that have the money, the health, and the love. So here I speak about money especially, but it goes for everything, even health. Health takes the effort of doing practices, being disciplined about those practices, and finding the fun in it, like really enjoying it. And all of that, to me, always felt like it was away from me on the other side with others. It was like there was me, and sometimes some other people like me. And then on the other side, there was others. So everyone who had money, who is abundant in happiness, in love, in health, all these things, because I've had many, many issues of health with my body. And I've been healing and I'm so much better now, but um I've actually been going backwards in time with my health, where I started really bad and now the older I get, the better I get. But hey, that's just a little side note. Um but it always felt like it was like almost not for me. And it's not, I don't even think it was a question of deserving it or not. There is that, of course, but mainly it was like I had learned what my place was in society, and I put myself there and I stayed there and I accepted that position, which also meant that I accepted all the lack that came with it. So it was a position that was rooted in survival mode. I am sure most of you will have heard of the concepts of survival mode versus thriving, and thriving being the way that we are meant to be living our life, that our nature is to be living our life as people who thrive once we have awakened enough. And that means overturning and overtaking the process of self survival, which is where most of us function until we awaken. And so I always felt like thriving was not part of my world, it was part of the others' world. And I was aware that thriving exists. I was aware that it was okay for others to be like that, even though so many people around me would be quite hateful and resentful towards people who are thriving and who are abundant. It was not always the case for me. I sometimes also would feel jealous, envious, and whatever, but I have shifted from that. But there was a phase where I was there. Um, but it was really a question of feeling like I didn't belong there. And when I first started running my business, my clients would put money on the table to pay me for the treatment. In that money, I could not touch it for an entire week. And then I would go and I would put it away and put it in the bank and whatever. But it took an entire week before I could let that money into my world. And again, it was not so much a question of not deserving, it was a question of having grown up in the belief that I didn't belong in the same world as money. So therefore, money was out of reach, was in that other world. For my health, I I loved exercising in terms of like playing basketball or playing badminton or things like that. I really enjoyed this and I enjoyed how I felt afterwards. But the more I would do it, the more it would push me back into that doesn't belong in my world. And so at some point or another, I would just stop and go back to how it's supposed to be. And how it's supposed to be was also shaped by my experiences and my pains. Um, the losses I had, the lack of control. I've had many situations where I didn't have any control and something bad happened and I just could not stop it. Car accidents and people who did actions not abusive, but who did actions that I couldn't stop and I needed to stop for whatever reason. And um, and somehow that situation of not being able to control things kind of also put me in this world. I I cannot take actions, consecutive actions, and consistent actions that can keep me into the direction that I want to go because I can't control things. And so I've lost a bit track of my thoughts here, but basically it's all connected. But really, going back to that thing, because this is what I wanted to message about here. It's the gap, the distance, the cliff, the wall, the whatever you want to call it, that we put in place between us and what we really want, what we really have in our heart that we want to reach, that we want to gain, that we want to experience. And so let me finish reading this. Um, Yes, so I was saying leave alone, thrive, and finally, and most importantly, how we know that it is the others that have the money, health, and love, etc. We watched it all on TV. It is not us who have it, it is those people on TV. It's all the stories. I just ended up being a witness to life because I was used to watching things happening on TV or around me, but I never felt like I could be part of these things. I didn't belong in that. Um, an out of reach dream. And finally, the other side of what? The other side of what we feel we cannot make happen. So many situations happened to us that we could not control. And now, how can we believe that we can take controlled actions and steps and be able to move forward with success? Yeah, that's the thread I lost. So here it is back. Um, with all these experiences that we have, where especially as children, where we just can't control things, and as children, our health, our life depends on others completely. Um, So that helplessness sometimes when we don't feel our needs nourished and fulfilled as children, because we can't provide it for ourselves, but the providers can't provide it for us either, then leaves us in that situation where it feels like we cannot make it happen. And that's a big wall. That's part of that rift, that separation between that world that is supposed to be ours, which is the world of abundance, and where our dreams can come true and where we can take the actions that take us there, and where we are in the self-pitying, in the sad, in the depressed, in the angered and frustrated world that, me at least, I had come to terms come to terms with and accepted that that was my world. And it's not. It's the other way around. So letting go of that gap, wall, rift, cliff, whatever you want to call it, that is in between you. So in my case, between me and my world of abundance, being my true self. Letting go of that gap, letting go of that wall, letting go of you're reaching your arms out, you're trying to grab it, and it's just that little bit too far away from you, kind of thing, that gap, and merging with this reality. And you may ask me, how do I get rid of the wall? How do I let go of it? And I would say it is as simple as letting it go with your breath. Experiencing it, noticing it, experiencing what it feels like inside of you, the sensations in your body, the thoughts in the mind even, and then letting it go. So it can be with the breath, breathing in, bringing in the world of abundance, for example, getting closer to it, and breathing out and letting go of any distance, any wall, any separation that you may feel. Also, as you breathe out, you can let go of the world of survival and instead go into the thriving world, if that makes sense. So, letting go of the survival world, so that means letting go of the sensations inside of us. And for me, for example, a sensation that is typical of survival world is the feeling of feeling cold, or the tension of the whole body, the whole muscles are nice and tight. Not so nice though, but like proper tight. So letting go of that tension as you are thinking of stepping into the abundant world. Um, Biting, like the feeling that there is always a threat above you or behind you. You know, like the monsters under the bed, and the fear of some teeth coming at you and biting you, basically, which is really typical of a child's fear, yeah, very young child's fear. Letting go of that also. But it's not just with the breath. We can also do it just like this. We can just simply sit in stillness, noticing the feelings, and then if you could imagine that you are holding on to those feelings tight, then at the moment when you notice them, just letting it all go, letting it release, up and out, side and out, down and out, however, but out. Stopping holding on to it, releasing and letting go. Um, and noticing when you let go also, you have made space then for where the pain or the stress or the survival mode was, that you are releasing, and then that goes. There is an empty space here now, and you can feel this. You can feel this with love, you can feel this with abundance, or just pure light of any color that feels right to you. I normally tend to see golden light or golden yellow light or white light myself, but it all depends on what part of you it is that you've released, where the gap is placed in your chakras, and all sorts. But yeah, I just wanted to share this because I really felt it very strong today, and I have now started to share what I'm going through, and how I'm coping with it, because these things are never told. We find um, gurus, teachers, mentors who never speak about their problems because they are supposed to be part of the solution. We find all the people, so many people that are lost, stressed, depressed, but cannot find a way out, or find a way in, actually. So I am sharing, and I will be sharing more and more about my experiences, what I do, what I'm going through, how I'm coping with it, what I'm using, the tools I'm using to come out of it, and the wisdom that comes at these moments as well. And now, one thing I'm going to do today, so I ended, well, either I was dumped or we went apart from each other, but it's a loss. Let's put it this way, a loss of the heart. So today was going to be a day for me to connect very strongly with my feminine energy, to really heal, and to think all pink and red things, and sweet and soft things. But I am also today going to be doing some tapping, thought field therapy, which I use a lot on myself as well as on others, um, to clear out that gap, to break that wall down between those two worlds in me, so that the world of abundance can simply pour into me. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day and a wonderful world of abundance. Thank you.